begins anew on racing superhighway known as the Daytona International Speedway as we get ready for the Busch Clash on a cloudy, breezy North Florida day. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Economaki, welcoming you to the opening day of a new auto racing season. Some 50,000 fans are here, waiting to see 15 drivers, each with a great reputation in a mad dash for the lion's share of $290,000 in prize money. Everyone who's anyone is here. Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Bill Elliott, and the man on the pole, Ernie Irvan, each waiting to see his car is the fastest, his ride the smoothest, his moves the best. Winning today won't be easy, for this is a unique race. It's for NASCAR's fastest. And for the ground rules, here's my colleague, Mike Joy.
Chris, 14 of the drivers behind me, each won at least one pole position in 1992 for a Winston Cup race. The fastest of the fast on pole qualifying day. Then they added one wild card driver from among all the fastest second-round qualifiers. Here in Daytona Thursday, each driver drew a starting position for this race. When the green flag drops, they'll run 10 green flag laps. Yellow laps don't count. Then a halftime break. The yellow flag will wave, and each car may come to pit road to make adjustments without losing its position. They can do anything work on the car they want. They can do it in a normal Winston Cup race. However, then the last shall go first, and the first shall go last. They will invert the field. Drop the green flag again, race 10 more laps. The winner gets 35 grand, and Chris will speak to him in victory lane. When we come back to Daytona, Ken Squire, Ned Jarrett, and Neil Bonnet will tell you why we think this may be the most competitive Busch Clash in recent memory, and maybe the wildest. That and the green flag coming up right after this.
The 1993 Busch Clash is sponsored by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. The First Brands Corporation, makers of STP, Prestone, and Simonize. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires.
Checkerboard weather here at Daytona. Rain during the night, washing down the 2.5-mile track. Bright, sunny morning. And now the wind is like the crowd. Up for the Clash. Temperature at 67 degrees. Humidity 78%. You couldn't have better conditions to run a race. And what a way to start this final portion of Speed Weeks. Hello, everyone. Ken Squire here topside as we get ready for the Busch Clash 15th annual. 15 drivers at the ready, and first with Neil Bonnet, let's talk about these cars. Now, they've increased the spoiler. They've pushed up the blade to 370 inches from 290 inches a year ago. These cars are really stable. What does it mean to these drivers, Ed?
Ken, when you do what they've done with these race cars, you put more blade on the rear, nail the car down the racetrack, that driver gets that feel back. It gets pretty brave again. It's also done another thing. With that blade up in the air, there's a lot more vacuum behind the car. We're going to see draft like we've seen in the past. It lets those cars really pull up behind them. And I tell you, these guys are ready to go racing. It's going to be a show.
And you'll see some slingshotting out here today, too. Now let's talk for just a moment with Ned Jarrett about the race itself.
Well, I think it's going to make the drivers more brave than we've seen them in a long time because the car will feel so stable. But as Neil said, there's a lot of vacuum created by the big spoilers back there, but I think you're going to have to get back a little bit, a car length or two, to really pick up momentum to be able to pass someone. The cars are so equal this year that it's going to be tough to pass, but it won't surprise me to see them running 2 abreast, and maybe occasionally somebody will dip in and make it 3 abreast going into one of these turns. Should be exciting.
Let's meet the fastest drivers of 1992 as they prepare for the Clash of 93. Starting in the first row, Ernie Irvan, the 1991 Daytona 500 champion. Right beside him, Brett Bodine. For row 2, it's the 1989 Winston Cup champion, Rusty Wallace, and the 87 Clash winner, Bill Elliott. Row 3 today, defending Winston Cup champion Alan Kowicki and Sterling Marlin taking over for the Stavola brothers. In row 4, it's Rick Mast for his second appearance in this race, and Mark Martin, runner-up in this event back in 91. Row 5, 81 Clash winner Darrell Waltrip and Kyle Petty. In row 6 will be Ricky Rudd and Ken Schrader, who's won this race back-to-back. In row 7 today, the 4-time winner Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Means. Finally out back, 15th starting position at car number 28. Twice a runner-up in the Clash, Davey Allison. Mike Joy is standing by with last year's Clash winner.
Well, Ken, Jeff Bodine didn't win a pole this season, so he's relegated to the tower where Darrell Waltrip's hung out with us the last few years. Your younger brother's on the outside pole for this race. How did you tell him how to win it?
Well, I told him if you want to win, if you want to get victory lane here at Daytona, you need a good starting spot in that second 10-lap segment. Third or fourth would be a good starting spot. I think I was third last year. I ended up in victory lane. But, you know, none of these guys would even tell me what they're going to do. It's going to be a surprise to everyone how they play this game.
Well, as Darrell Waltrip said, if you don't think you got a chance to win that first half, you're going to be pedaling toward the back, and it may be the slowest 10th lap in NASCAR history as everybody tries to get back there.
An exciting day of sports here on WDEV, a day in which we remember Arthur Ashe. He was a revolutionary in tennis, a crusader for human rights, a person of quality throughout his life. Arthur Ashe. Green this time by. First 10 laps ready to roll. 25 miles. There you see it. $25,000 to win. They say that car number 11 may be spewing a little oil out there out of Elliott's car. Let's check the race cams for just a moment. You're riding with Brett Bodine up in the front row in the Kenny Bernstein car. Good luck to you. Mark Martin in the Roush, number 6. They think he'll be up to about 192 mile an hour in that second lap. They're going to go another lap. There seems to be some oil problems on car number 11.
Yeah, they were indicating they had a problem. I think they're going to give them that option to see if they can find out what the trouble is with the 11 car.
You saw the roof can for Ricky Rudd. Remember, Ricky Rudd has been here 11 occasions and had 2 terrible wrecks. One early, remember that last lap? Little Wrangler car. Here you see the front of the field. You're riding with Ricky Rudd right now. He's never won this race. One he wants badly. Here comes Elliott on pit road. Elliott has taken a consultation flag, and number 11, the Junior Johnson car.
Several other cars
and
coming.
Several other cars are coming. They're going to take advantage of this. Here you see Sterling Marlin's number 8 on pit road. Car number 6 also coming in.
That might be a possibility. They were behind him. They could have thrown oil off the 11 car. That's what they're doing. They're cleaning the windshields.
Here's Chris.
But the trunk has been open. They're working under the car. Junior, what is the problem?
Looks like somebody's left the oil line loose on the oil tank.
Okay, there you have it. A loose oil line, and oil is spilling out. A preparation fault in car number 11, and Junior Johnson is not happy, and I say Bill Elliott is not happy either. They're working furiously there. It looks like they've completed the work now. They're going to put the trunk lid down and get him back in. In the meantime, the second car comes in here. Sterling Marlin was in for a moment.
And he was cleaning off the windshield, and he has gone back.
And so is Mark Martin. You can see them completing the work on his Ford as they get the grease and oil off the front. They've already cleaned the windshield, and you can see he has a very clear windshield as he goes down pit road, gets back out to take his place in line.
They say that there is an oil puddle under number 11.
We see oil on the right rear. We see the guy down on his knees right there. There's a big puddle of oil. The oil tank is in the trunk of these cars. Evidently, the entire trunk area of that car is full of oil. It's going to be tough. They're not concerned about that oil they've lost. They've got to get oil back in there for the engine. Replace it. That's going to be tough to do.
Bad break for Elliott, bad break for Mike Beam, and I think they may bring everyone back in here. You're watching this live at Daytona in the 15th annual Clash. They may bring everyone back on pit road now, Ned.
I think one of the things they might be going to do on that thing, Ned, is we stressed all week they're working with these cars aerodynamically, and those cars that were behind him that got that oil all over it will actually slow the cars down. I think this not so much for Bill Elliott, but to let those other guys clean their cars up.
Here they come, Ken. They are bringing them back into the pits.
We'll be back with more from Daytona in a moment.
These racing cars, oil is kept in a separate tank, a 20-quart tank. In this case, it's in the trunk. It's not in the bottom of the car like it is in your pleasure car at home. It's called the dry sump system. So 20 quarts of oil, a great part of which have already spilled out of that trunk tank, and they're draining it. They're cleaning up the trunk. They've got a problem. Back to you, Ken.
they have spewed oil all down pit road, and so they're having to take some extra time to dry that up as well.
You know, we've become accustomed to unusual things happening in this Busch Clash, and of course this is one of the most unusual and a little bit embarrassing, really, to a team that have something like this happen.
And of course they have a new crew chief in Mike Beam out there for them.
You know, the first thing somebody's going to say, well, boy, why would they stop the race for Bill Elliott and let him fix it? That's not the case. The other drivers, I'm sure, made the call from inside their cars, hey, I got to get my car where I can see. So it's not only Bill Elliott, they're letting the rest of the guys clean their cars up so they'll be ready to go.
That's Mike Beam inside the car, cleaning up the oil, and I'm sure they've already fastened the oil line that was loose that caused all of this.
They're also making a run on the outside of the track, going down into turn number 1. There's the Speedy Dye truck. There you see Junior Johnson looking on as they continue to work on car number 11.
There might be one reason, you know, there's no doubt there's a little bit of oil on the track, but Ned, I think we sensed before this race started that we're going to probably see the biggest shuffle that's ever happened at the first of the race. Usually guys will get the feel for the track. They don't have that luxury in this race. They're going to have to go the minute they drop that flag, and the track is going to have to be in good shape.
Over 4.5 minutes thus far, we've been under this caution and a red hold on pit road after problems on car number 11. We'll be back shortly. In the 14 previous years, we've never seen one quite like this one. Here's the entire field held up on the end of pit road and oil down around the track. This car number 11 had a major problem, and they continue to work on that car now. Get that oil leak filled up and get this track back race ready. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, on the pace lap, Sterling Marlin was the car directly behind Bill Elliott. Ken Wilson is his team manager. What did the car look like when it came in?
Our car was just dripping with oil. I don't know what, they had an oil line off or something, but the front of it and the windshield, there's no way that we could have started the race like that. He couldn't see nothing.
So it was a good decision to bring the field in.
Yeah, that's a real good decision. Sterling said it was just pouring out the back of the car, so I know the track's in bad condition. There was no way we could stay out there because he couldn't see.
We've got Speedy Dry now all the way around the track, and now the hood as well as the deck lid has gone up on Bill Elliott's car.
Pace car has pulled in front of the field now. It's just made a lap, come through the tri-oval, pulls down in front of Ernie Irvin and Brett Bodine. There you see Ricky Rudd's car a little further back.
What's kind of unique about this, we've seen them all morning in there polishing and putting silicone on all the leading edges and just spending a tremendous amount of time getting these cars as slick as possible so they'll go fast, and here we oil them down before we ever start.
Field is rolling back out, getting set for a restart. Nary a lap complete here in the Busch Clash yet. We're back with you live. They're dusting off the field here, dusting off this 2.5-mile track, getting ready to go, hopefully shortly. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
Here with Mike Beam. He's talking with Junior Johnson. Mike, what was the cause of the leak and how much oil spilled on the track?
Chris, it had too much oil in it. We changed the oil this morning from our qualifying stuff, and the oil level was too high. Someone just,
Pumped it out.
It was just a mistake on someone's part. But luckily, I hope it's fine. It was just too high.
Okay, thank you. There you have it. It was overfilled, a rare mistake on the part of a professional racing crew. Back to you, Ken.
Chris, they're bringing the 11 car back to its original starting position. You see it trailing the field right here. Car number 11, Bill Elliott, as they bring them up. Now, they've tightened up these cars considerably after the qualifying runs yesterday. They've also closed down the noses on these cars, Ned, and with all that dust out there from the Speedy Dry, could be a factor.
Well, it could be a concern. They took a couple of laps and tried to blow as much of that off the racing surface as they possibly could, but there's still some out there, and certainly you don't want to get it matted into the grill area because it could shut off the airflow into the engine.
Yeah, when we see these cars, just like looking at Bill Elliott's, they've got most of the frontal area closed off with duct tape simply for this sprint. The more it's closed up, the faster they run, and they're going to be borderline as they are.
Now, if you're just joining us, let's review the field as they come down. It'll be Ernie Irvin and Brett Bodine in row 1, Rusty Wallace and Bill Elliott in row 2. We've had an 8-minute and 44-second delay. Let's go to Mike Joy quickly here.
Ken, this is Joni Morowski's ARCA car for a race later today. This is the dry sump tank that holds the oil. It's located back here in the corner of the trunk. These lines carry the oil up to the engine through a filter. There are lines on either end, so they had a lot of things to look at to see if there was something leaking or a problem, and it turned out, as Mike said, just to be a little bit overfilled. We'll hope he's okay.
Row 3 as they come down toward turn 4. Alan Kowicki and Sterling Marlin. Rick Mast, Mark Martin, Darrell Waltrip, Kyle Petty, Ricky Rudd, Ken Schrader, Earnhardt and Means, and Davey Allison rounding out the field.
Ed, we've talked about it. This is the time everybody really needs to be on the edge of their seat. A lot of races, you wait till the last lap. The Busch Clash, you watch those first couple of laps. Well, that's when the guys really make their moves.
Hugh Conradi lays out the green flag. Field is underway for 10 laps.
It takes these cars about 2 laps to get up to maximum speed. So right now they're going up through the gears. It's going to take them a full lap to get them up to speed. The back straightaways where most of the moves will be made coming off second turn.
Double file back in row 2. This Bodine, they try to stack them 3 wide going into the back straightaway as Ernie Irvin draws off by a 2-car lead advantage.
Here they are, 3 or 4 wide, 3 wide coming down there's Sterling Marlin on the inside of Rusty Wallace.
Elliott pinned up on the outside. Streaking away, Brett Bodine in second spot from Ricky Rudd's camera.
You can see he doesn't have much of anywhere to go. Here goes Darrell Waltrip down on the inside, though, picks up a good draft. He's following Sterling Marlin. 2 rows, 3 abreast.
Then we thought we'd see some of this in the first lap around. We're seeing guys down on the apron, 3 abreast all the way around the race. There's the 4 abreast right now.
Wait a minute, guys. This won't work.
Back to 3. It looked like Alan Kowicki was just getting shuffled in the middle on that car number 7.
In the past, in this race, the key is to get to the front. And we see the guys making some really crazy moves, but you have to do it to get to the front in this race. They were 4 wide again.
Irvin leading, Brett Bodine in second. Elliott coming back. Wallace. Waltrip down to the bottom.
And look at Earnhardt up on the outside there. He started 13th. Has already moved up to 7th position.
Remember, he came up in a lap and he won this thing 2 years ago in that second segment.
Now he goes to the inside. He was up on the outside the last lap. Pulls on the inside of Sterling Marlin. Takes another position.
In the past, we've seen that these guys have to have a partner. That hasn't changed. We're still going to have to see these guys making moves. That 2 abreast really works good. You single them out, it's still hard to pass like that.
Morgan McClure car stays out in front by a car length. Brett Bodine with a good run in second spot. There's Elliott in third. Deployed fourth is Rusty Wallace. Here comes Earnhardt, continuing to move up through. He's on the back end of car number 6, Mark Martin's 5th place machine.
Now he's going to the outside. He has some momentum going into the turn, moving around Sterling Marlin. Wow, look at him go on the outside of Mark, making 3 abreast from the outside. You see it on the inside occasionally, but wow.
I tell you what, that's putting a lot of faith in that guy driving that 6 car. You got to let him know you're out there. Mark did a good job. He realized Earnhardt was out there and didn't pinch him on the wall.
3 wide to the corner, and you see Earnhardt clambering up through the field for 5th. Maybe that the black flag is going to come out again, and again it will be on the 11 car. See this time by.
Brett Bodine had a notion to try to take the lead, but now he moves to the inside. Ernie Irvin sort of blocked him there a little bit. Pulled back down there. Said, no, that's my groove.
That's when you try to make one of these things about 40 foot wide. When you're leading, you don't want to give it up. We see them really battling, trying to get a position on them. The last lap around was faster than the pole. That tells us the draft is back. They're running faster in the draft than they did for the pole. It's very seldom we see that last few years.
Black flag is out. And it does appear as if maybe there is some smoke and a little bit of a leak on the back of the number 11 of Bill Elliott. Here's Earnhardt trying to go on the inside of it.
Watching that number 11 Elliott car.
Well, that was the move by Earnhardt. When he sees them give Elliott the black flag, you know they call it, he can't afford to follow it because Bill's got to come in this lap. He's on the inside trying to get around. Elliott is going to have to go another lap. He can't get in there, can he, Ned?
No, he can't get down to get into the pits.
Earnhardt to 3rd, Elliott 4th, Wallace 5th.
I expect there's been some complaining of the other drivers that there's some oil getting on their windshield from Elliott's car.
I Again, you saw the consultation flag out for number 11.
Here's Earnhardt going for the lead in turn 1. Can he get by Ernie Irvan? No, he has to fall back in line. Well, no, he's not falling back in line. That's not his style. He just goes to the front.
Stays right on the bottom.
The key is, can he clear him? Yeah, he did clear him just barely off that corner, Ned.
That's another vote of confidence in his own mind that he had him cleared there.
Elliott slowing down.
Yeah, Elliott did pull the inside, get the guy's room.
From 13th position at half distance, Earnhardt out in front and drawing away by 3 car lengths.
Yeah, that's the surprising part, that he's pulling away.
You know what? After the season Earnhardt had last year, that's almost got to be one of these guys' worst nightmares to see him be able to come back and run as strong as he is right now.
Brett Bodine falls to 4th. Kulwicki 5th. Kyle Petty 6th. Rick Mast right there in 7th. Davey Allison from 15th, now deployed right behind car number 7, Kulwicki. Elliott's on pit road.
Now Ernie Irvan has picked up the draft on Earnhardt and pulled back up to him. He had a tremendous amount of momentum when he went by him, and that just shot him out in front by 2 or 3 car lengths. Look at him jockeying back, and there's Davey Allison, who started dead last, trying to come up into 3rd position if he can make this pass.
He's got Ricky Rudd helping him. Ricky got left behind on that move.
Alan Kulwicki moved down behind him.
The problem we've got here, we've got a 5-wide straightaway, 3-way corner. You got to straighten out before you get in that end.
That was for 5th place that Davey Allison tried to move into.
Coming by with Earnhardt 1st. Ernie Irvan in 2nd. Rusty Wallace 3rd. Brett Bodine in 4th. And Davey Allison now finds himself in 5th. 3 car lengths back.
And when they come back the next time, it'll only be 2 laps to go.
Let's go to Jeff Bodine standing by with Mike Joy.
First, Ken, Bill Elliott stopped. They raised the trunk lid to show the NASCAR official there was no visible leak, and he went back out onto the racetrack. Jeff Bodine, what do you think of the way this race has unfolded so far?
Well, I'm as surprised as everyone, including Neil Bonnet. Earnhardt is strong. It's unbelievable how he came through the pack. Of course, you don't know. Are these guys letting him go through? They're getting him to start last in that second 10 laps. We'll have to wait and see.
Jimmy Means continues to make a good run out here. Stays right in here and fights it out with his first Busch Clash appearance.
I'm just like everyone else. I'm guessing that they let him by, but the last lap around the racetrack was 190-something miles an hour. Once they got in the front, he really picked the pace up, Ned.
Yes, Earnhardt is leading them faster than Ernie Irvan was able to. Another indication of how strong his Chevrolet is.
What we'd like to see is, we were talking about the ability to pass this back a little bit. Okay, now can these 2 guys behind Earnhardt, it's going to take 2 of them. It's going to take the 4 and the 2 car of Rusty Wallace to try to gain up on a 3. 5 car having a little bit of problem over there.
Ricky Rudd way off the pace as he goes into 3. Here come the leaders. Earnhardt in 1st, Irvan 2nd, 3rd, Bodine, Davey Allison looking for room with a lap to go this time by.
This is show or tell. We'll be able to see if that draft is going to be effective enough to pull the other 2 cars around Earnhardt.
$25,000 at stake here for winning this 10-lap first half.
And a lot of bragging rights goes with it.
GM cars running 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
There's Irvan taking a look to the outside. Earnhardt moved over. There's Irvan to the inside now. That's Davey Allison down on the inside making a strong move.
Got a good run on Brett Bodine. Moved down to the inside, but now Bodine comes back up on the outside.
10 seconds to a payoff. $25,000 at stake. Earnhardt stays up in front. Here comes Ernie Irvan right after it. Down to the line. They put out the halfway mark and the caution flag to end the first 10 laps. So it's Earnhardt picking up right where he ended in 1991 when he swept both ends of this thing. You'll recall that it was in the second half of the race in 91 that he came from the rear of the field to pass them all in just a lap and 3/4. Earnhardt winning the first segment, the first half. And we'll be back for the second half after these words. We're back with you at the Daytona International Speedway. Some of the cars have come in at this halftime break. There you see Kulwicki's car. The Pontiac is back there, the number 2. That's Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty's car is on pit road, but the leader has stayed out there. In fact, the majority right now are still on the track.
A little bit surprising, Neil, that they didn't come in, but one race, the new tires run better and faster. Another race, maybe the used tires might be better. Goodyear continuously improves the radial tires that they're using now, so maybe the new tires are a hindrance here.
Then I think what they found down here with this limited amount of power you have, when you put the new tires on, it actually slows the car down. It gets such a good grip that it slows the car down for 2 or 3 laps. And in those 2 or 3 laps while the tires are coming in, you can go from the front to the rear. So I think these guys are going to be content to go with what they have on the car.
Here's Mike Jewett.
Well, Neil, everybody along pit road toward turn 1 has tires mounted and up on the wall. I think some of the drivers might have expected pit road to be closed the first time around, as it usually is under a Winston Cup caution flag. But virtually everybody has sticker tires mounted up here and ready to go on the car. We'll see what happens when they come around this time.
Earnhardt going for his 5th win in 7 Busch Clashes. He started the win back in 1980. Let's look at the order of finish from the first half of the 1993 Busch Clash. Earnhardt coming across with Ernie Irvan in second, the guy who's been on the pole. Rusty Wallace getting third, Davey Allison fourth, and Brett Bodine finishing in the 5th position. Alan Kowicki gets himself 6th, Kyle Petty in 7th, Rick Mast in 8th, 9th is Sterling Marlin, and 10th is Ken Schrader. And finally, Jimmy Means winds up in the 11th spot. Mark Martin was 12th, Ricky Rudd 13th, Darrell Waltrip 14th, and Bill Elliott finishing last. They'll now invert the order, and Bill Elliott will come from the point. Here's Mike.
Dale Earnhardt is in for service. New crew chief Andy Petrie has replaced his predecessor Kirk Shelmerdine in that position, and also changing the right front tire. Earnhardt will get 4 all the way around, and a very careful wipe of the windshield as he looks at that left corner of it. Hank Jones puts the squeegee to it. Car up in the air on the left side, and again a brand new set of Goodyears going on for this final 10-lap sprint. Let's go down pit road to Chris.
Okay, I'm down here with Bill Elliott. Bill, is the car running okay with this problem?
Well, it's running fine. Just that we had, I don't know what happened in the back because of the oil leak, but now we're having a little bit of an oil pressure problem.
Low or high?
Low.
Tough break for Bill Elliott. Won the 500 here in 1985. So this car is a trouble car in this Busch Clash today. Back to you, Ken.
The 87 Clash winner. And again, see the rear deck up on that car.
They might say, well, how could it damage a motor? Usually low oil hurts the motor, but when you have too much oil in one of these engines, that tank pumps too much in the engine and it starts foaming. It gets too much in the pan, it foams, it aerates the oil, and then it burns the bearings out. So he might have a problem if he's fluctuating with the oil pressure this early.
So here's Bill Elliott coming back out. He'll lead the 15 cars down for the second half of the Busch Clash. Back with you at Daytona. Joining us today is Airship Chemu, the SeaWorld blimp, measuring 194 feet in length, 67 feet tall, 2/3 the length of a football field, and nearly 7 stories high. Giving us some great pictures of the Daytona Speedway. You see this rampage that's going on now. They're trying to get themselves organized for the restart for the second half. Let's look at the starting grid for this second half. Bill Elliott will be up in front. Darrell Waltrip, a couple of previous winners in the front row. Row 2 will be Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin, both looking to win this thing for the first time. Row 3 is Jimmy Means and Ken Schrader, who has won it back-to-back. Then in row 4, there you see Sterling Marlin in the number 8 and Rick Mast. Row 5 will be Kyle Petty and Alan Kowicki. For row 6 on the restart, Brett Bodine is there and Davey Allison. Going to row 7, Rusty Wallace and Ernie Irvan, who led the majority of the laps in the first half. And it's Earnhardt from out back. And we see Davey Allison pulling onto pit road as the field comes by. 1 lap and they're supposed to be racing. That's what we said at the start of the first half, and you know what happened. Here are the statistics on that first half. 186 mile an hour average net.
It's a pretty good average, really, considering takeoff and getting up to speed.
Of course, the big statistics there is Earnhardt from 13th to 1st.
It's almost misleading when you said lead change at 1. We saw a lot of changes. We saw some 3 and 4 breast racing. This second half should even be more exciting.
Here's Mike.
Davey Allison came back in because the new set of tires he put on the car felt were perhaps out of balance, or perhaps one had the pressures equalized between the inner liner and the outer tire, so no penalty for him to come back during his halftime break and change them again. An interesting contrast on pit road. You saw Ricky Rudd fall back in the latter laps of that first half. The car was overheating when it was in the draft. When he got back out into clean air, the heat cooled down. He was okay. Now, by contrast, two of the Fords, Allison and Alan Kulwicki, came in during halftime to tape over the grills to make the cars more aerodynamic, but they'll get less air through there to cool the radiator.
Now, Mike, we know that Ricky Rudd would not have backed off to get start near to the front. I'm sure that car was overheating pretty good.
You know, when we're looking here at Bill Elliott, a little bit of adversity in that first one might have put him in the driver's seat. He was the guy that was leading the winner. He was leading Earnhardt a while ago. He's in good. If he hasn't damaged that motor, he's in excellent shape right there.
Davey Allison back with the field. Up on the 31-degree banking. On the east bend, getting set for a start. This is the one that pays $35,000. But as far as these drivers are concerned, Neil, race is a race.
That last one was the first race of the year. This is the second race of the year. So they're going to run just as hard.
And I think it's going to be exciting to watch Earnhardt come from the back and see how far he can get. It won't surprise me to see him get back to the front.
Green is down.
We saw him on the first race. As soon as they hit the back straightaway, we saw him go 3 and 4 wide. Look at him jockeying around now. It takes him a while to get him up to speed, and then we'll see him jump all over the racetrack.
They're getting up enough speed now that the draft is beginning to come into effect. And we'll see them, as Neil said, when they come off of turn 2, they'll start that jockeying for position down the back.
Here we go, 3 and 4 wide. I think they learned something from that first race. From the rear to the front, he's capable of doing it. Mark Martin's car up high. There's 11 car down below him. Bill Elliott, Waltrip on the outside pole. They're side by side.
To end lap number 1, here's Elliott squirting back in front of the line, just there in front of Waltrip. Ricky Rudd right in behind him.
Yeah, they're hoping they can break away and get somebody on their bumper. Waltrip has been able to get singled out there, and he says, somebody follow me so we can get broken away from this pack.
There where Brett Bonine's right in the middle of the pack. You see the cars just buffeting around. The entire car is shuffling around. They're not moving around. There's a lot of buffet area with that much momentum, with that many cars moving through.
There's Earnhardt down on the inside, going 3 abreast into that turn. Ernie Irvin backs out a little bit, gives him that running room.
Here he is up beside Wallace. Davey Allison on the outside. Watch the black number 3 as he tries to find a hole. Here he is diving back to the inside another time. And he's underneath Kyle Petty.
You know, we've said this before, Nate, it's like climbing a ladder. You go from one rung to the next. You step on this guy, you go to the next, you step on him. You got to pick them one at a time, and Earnhardt's really been moving on the inside.
And there he is, trying to move on the inside of Martin. No, he says it's not the time to do it. There was not room down there for him to do it that time.
Sterling Marlin on the bottom. Earnhardt looks on the high side of him in that shuffle in the back straightaway. Meanwhile, up in front, the war continues. Waltrip there and Elliott. It's amazing how Earnhardt keeps running this like a quarter-mile track, finding those little holes and popping through.
He's a master at it.
We've almost calmed down to 2 abreast racing. That's going to make the passing tough. We need to see them mix it up, or there'll be a lot of passing going on here.
Well, with him coming up there now behind he's not going to stay behind long. Behind the 8 car of Sterling Marlin, that's allowed push Bill Elliott back up on the inside of Darrell Waltrip.
We're going to need this 3 abreast back here for really to get the draft spread out. I can't help but think we'll see these guys jumping out of line, see if they can make that move.
Interval from first to last, 9/10 of a second. Waltrip stays up there with Elliott, Schrader, Martin in those top spots. And here, inching his way along, comes the black number 3.
Hasn't been able to create a hole here yet in this, once he got up to that position.
You know, before he was able to capitalize on those cars all the way across the racetrack. They're settled into 2 abreast, and it's going to be hard for someone to make a move.
Back in that 3rd row. tagging along with Schrader. There's the break on the inside. Sterling Marlin dives down low, going for the lead. Walsh is there.
Earnhardt goes with Marlin. Elliott went from first to sixth.
You know, we saw Sterling Marlin take that look 2 or 3 times, and then when he finally made it, Earnhardt went with him, and they were able to clear him. There's Sterling taking a run for the lead.
Sterling Marlin out in front. Remember, he won the first segment a year ago. Finished 6th in the second segment. And here comes Earnhardt, storming, bottom of the racetrack. Finds those holes around Schrader. Earnhardt is back.
I'll tell you what, Earnhardt and Schrader worked good together on these big racetracks. I wouldn't doubt to see them gang up on the 8 car and try to make the pass. As I say that, here we go, 4 abreast. There goes those plans.
Schrader hasn't been able to clear Darrell Waltrip yet. Now he does.
From the blimp, watch as Earnhardt inches along on the inside, making his move for the lead.
Motioning Ken Schrader, say, come on, buddy. You're my Chevrolet buddy. Let's move.
Schrader's pedaling as hard as he can pedal. It just won't quite get there. Here he comes now. He is going to clear him going down in the corner.
Mike Joy with Jeff Bodine.
Jeff, Dale Earnhardt made that move on the bottom. As we watched, you were head shaking.
Well, I guess it's pretty obvious to everybody watching. Earnhardt has a strong race car, and the move Sterling made to go into turn 1 opened that whole situation up for Dale, and he took advantage of it, and that doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to beat that 3 car.
Rusty Wallace theorized that as long as the pack was 2 abreast up front, it would all log jam behind until somebody got out front. Will this really change the complexion of this race?
Well, sure will. You know, now they're lined up in front, and if the guys in the back can get in line and catch those guys in front, maybe there will be another move made by someone. But look, they're just staying side by side behind their front 3, and they're losing ground.
GM cars running first, second, third. But the big story here, the man in black is back. Still looking for that first Daytona 500 victory. Certainly will give him an edge going in the odds for next week's race.
What they got to be thinking, they said, we're going to use our second best car for this race because we've never won the 500. This is their backup car, and boy, is it performing.
And Jeff Bodine made a good point there. Those cars are singled out in front. They're going to pull away from these cars racing with each other back there if they aren't careful.
They were in Brett Bodine's car. You can see they're working as hard. They've got to try to make these moves. Everybody said, well, why don't they stay in line? They can't afford to. They're running out of laps. They got to pass some of these other cars. And in turn, like you say, Ned, they're pulling away the lead cars.
Scramble is on, but it's all over up in front. Earnhardt driving away with Schrader in second, Ernie Irvan in third. There you see them as they come around with a couple of laps to go this time by.
Whenever Schrader, he was playing a little bit of game right there. Schrader laid back. Him in the 4 car, either Earnhardt had enough strength to pull away, but that's the first time they gave him about 3 car lengths. Watch them reel him in right here. They might be playing with us last lap.
I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're seeing how far they need to be back to build up the momentum to go by once they get the white flag.
Mark Martin back there in 4th, about 20 car lengths from that trio leading the event as time runs out. And it's even across Ricky Rudd and Sterling Marlin.
Is this going to be an indication of next week when we throw 30 more of these guys out there, turn them loose like this? It's going to be a great race, I tell you.
Ned, you got a prediction about next Sunday based upon what you're seeing now?
Well, Kyle Petty, of course, sitting on the pole for the Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett on the outside. Both of them, I think, will be strong factors. But look out for these cars right here, and Earnhardt in particular.
Here comes Schrader. White flag, 1 to go.
Boy, Schrader took a look at him off the 4th turn, so he's got it in his mind. He can try him.
Okay, he's back just a car length or 2. It looks like he's right on his bumper right there. We see when he goes into the turn, he's back just a little bit. He needs to be back a little bit to get some momentum going down the backstretch, but he'll need Irvan to come with him.
4-time winner, Earnhardt out in front in his 7th appearance. Schrader, who's won it, walking in on 90. Oof.
Earnhardt came down on the inside. Schrader tried to make the move. Earnhardt went down with him.
That little black car can get as wide as any of them on the racetrack. He's going to be a handful off this corner.
Final turns. Neil, this is the car you were practicing for, Dale, earlier. It looks stout.
Yeah, I tested a few times with it, and it was an old backup car. Looked like it's doing a pretty good job here, I tell you.
Coming to the line, the 1993 Busch Clash. And for the 5th time, checkers come out. Of the man in black. Dale Earnhardt has done it. Richard Childress knocking on the door to win the Daytona 500 again with driver Dale Earnhardt. 500 next Sunday here on CBS. They slow them down the back straightaway. It'll be Kyle Petty on the pole at 189.4. Dale Jarrett right alongside 189.2. 500 next Sunday on CBS. And so, for Chris Economaki, Ned Jarrett, Mike Joy, Neil Bonnet, and Jeff Bodine, this is Ken Squire saying so long from Daytona Beach, Florida. Coming up next, NCAA basketball. The Purdue Boilermakers take on the Michigan Wolverines. Then live final round coverage of the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am.